Hi everyone, this is a Mars Hill Latin 4 lecture video for lesson 27. Okay, so we've been talking in this unit about irregular verbs, learning some new ones, and we've been adding some vocabulary that are based on those irregular verbs that are prefixed. So this week we're talking about fero, fere, tuli, latus. This is very irregular principal parts, so make sure you memorize them. Fero means to carry or to bear. So you have in your saying for the week, crocum in ciliciam fere, to carry saffron into Cilicia. Okay, so I'm going to read through the chart here of the conjugation, and you'll notice that the present indicative is one of the most unusual ones of all of them. So we have fero, fers, fert, ferimus, fertis, ferunt. And what you'll notice is that we don't really have a stem vowel except in the first person plural. We skip from the stem, fer, and then we just add our personal endings, ost, mustis, und. Okay, then we have ferebam, ferebas, ferebat, ferebamus, ferebatis, ferebant. That's a regular imperfect, okay, with the E as our stem vowel, since our infinitive is fere. Okay, then the future is like a third or fourth conjugation verb, so it's es, et in the future endings. So we get feram, feres, feret, feremus, feretis, ferent. Okay, then we have our perfect. Tuli, tulisti, tulit, tulimus, tulistis, tulerunt. Okay, then our pluperfect is also regular. We have our perfect stem tul and our imperfective sum. So we get tuleram, tuleras, tulerat, tuleramus, tuleratis, tulerant. And then we have the future perfect, also regular with our perfect stem plus the future of sum. So we get tulero, tuleris, tulerit, tulerimus, tuleritis, tulerint. Remembering that we have to change the U to an I in the third person plural because we don't want to match the perfect ending. Okay, so that's the active. Now the passive. So we get feror, feris, fertur, ferimur, ferimini, feruntor, and that's our indicative passive present. And you'll notice here that they're actually highlighted. The second person singular and the third person singular are the irregular ones with no stem vowel in them. Okay, then we have the imperfect, which is regular. So it goes the ferebar, ferebaris, ferebator, ferebamur, ferebamini, ferebantor. And then our future, again, it's like a third conjugation. So we get ferar, fereris, ferar, fereris, feretor, feremur, feremini, ferentor. Okay, then we have our perfect. Remember that the perfect of verbs is the fourth principal part, the perfect passive participle, and then a version of sum. And with the perfect tense, we use the present of sum. So we get latus aum, sum, es est, then lati a, sumus esti sunt. The pluperfect, again, we have our perfect passive participle, and then we have our imperfect of sum. So we get latus eram, etc. And then our future perfect, again, we have our perfect passive participle and our future of sum to get latus ero, etc. Okay, for the imperative, we have fer in the singular and ferte in the plural. For the participles in the present, we have ferens, ferentis. And then in the perfect, we get latus aum. And then in the future, we get laturus aum. Okay, then we have our active present participle, fere, which is changed to feri in the passive. In the perfect, we have tu lisse, which changes to latus plus esse in the passive. And then in the active future, we get laturus plus esse. And in the passive, we get latum iri. You should recognize the word iri from the verb eo. This is its infinitive there. Okay, and then our gerund we have ferendi, and our gerundive we have ferendus aum. Alright, so with few exceptions, fero has regular third conjugation endings. All the irregular forms occur in the present tenses of the indicative and verbals and are highlighted in the lesson's chart. The subjunctive is completely regular. Remember, the infinitive, in this case fere, is the imperfect stem. You can see the grammar appendix for the complete conjugation of fero if you'd like to. Okay, most of the irregular forms are simply missing the stem vowel. So instead of in the second person singular present active, we would expect feris, but we get fers instead. We just skip the vowel there. Similarly, the third person singular should be ferit, but it's actually just fert. And then feritis is what we'd expect for the second person plural, but we actually just get fertis. Similarly, we want fereris in the present second person singular passive indicative. We would like to see fereris, but we just get feris. And in the third person singular, we would expect feritor, but we just get fertor. The present passive infinitive is formed by changing the final e of fere into an I. The singular imperative is irregular, so you just have to memorize it. The plural is formed by adding te to the singular, which is similar, as you know, to other formations of the plural imperative. Okay, here's a note on vocab word. So use the accusative singular of pes, which is foot, with refero to say retreat, or literally to bring the foot back. Refero pedem. For example, post proelium exercitus pedem retulit. So after the battle, post proelium, the army exercitus retreated, retulit pedem, brought back the foot, literally. Another note, all the prefixed verbs in the vocabulary are conjugated exactly like fero. Dif, diff, is an alternate spelling of di, di. Af, at, al, so those three, af, at, and al, in afero are alternate spellings of odd. So afero is like adfero, so to bring to or to report. Confero is to bring together. Differo is to disperse, separate, or scatter. Infero is to bring into or to bring against. And refero is to bring back and to report. All right, make sure you memorize the principal parts of those verbs because you will be tested over those. All right, short video, short lesson. Good luck with your homework, and I'll see you in class.